So, which nation is now the best team in the world? We're going to have a look at the rankings, I'm going to give my opinion, and let's look at that all-important viewer vote. And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. So who is actually the best team in the world? Well, the rankings are a decent showing, I think. I think they're a bit better than I'd previously thought. I did a big video on the algorithm, so check that out if you're interested. And it does a decent-ish job, although I think there's plenty of room for opinion as well, because a lot of these teams haven't played each other for a while, so it's taking into account, the recent games. Obviously it's historical, but it's affected more by the recent games as well. And let's have a look at the rankings. Ireland there are now #1 team on the rankings into the 90s. Absolutely fantastic stuff for them. But it's close in behind with France on 89, South Africa high 88. So those three look like on the rankings they're above the rest. Then into the next bracket we've got New Zealand and England very close on 86 points. And I think one of the fascinating things we're going to see in the Rugby Championship that's coming up is how do New Zealand bounce back if they do bounce back. They've had a bit of a mix around. They've brought some new coaches in, not a new head coach, but some new coaches. Is that going to make a difference? I'm pretty sure they're going to change a fair few structures and their overall strategy, so that's going to be fascinating. Then into a bracket below, there's 4 in together, Australia, Scotland, Wales and Argentina, all pretty close on points, so we could see some changes in that coming up in the next year into the Six Nations, etc. And Japan just drifting off a little bit in 10th there. So we've got the rankings, but who is actually the best team, in my opinion, in your opinion? Pop all those comments below, I'd love to know. England, I think, are just a bit too far off from the balance of their team, even though they performed pretty well in Australia with some really powerful forward performances. They need better balance in those backs, we've talked about that, so I don't think really they're in the picture. Australia, well, I think they're probably better than the points actually show. They've got a really dangerous attack. I think they're going to get better and better coming towards the World Cup. I think Dave Rennie's really got together a nice little team there. There's some star players as well, so I think they will improve, but I don't think they're in the shout for best team in the world at the moment. They need a massive rugby championship to make that case. And then we've got New Zealand, who I don't really think are even close at the moment, to be honest, even though they're 4th in the rankings. Their forward power isn't what it was, and their handling skills were well off as well, what we'd expect from recent All Black standards. So actually I don't think they're in the running either, which is a big statement, because they're always in the running normally anyway. So the 3 main contenders, let's have a look at them. South Africa. The first 2 tests against Wales I thought were pretty poor from them actually. Their third was much better, but the skill errors were pretty high in all 3. We saw some attack variation in the last test, but I think that needs to improve. If they do that in the Rugby Championship, especially the first 2 games at home to New Zealand, then I think they make a strong claim. Yeah, we still are the world champions, the world's best, even though maybe they won't be in the rankings. So that's a really good opportunity for them to make a statement. But right now, after those July tests, I wouldn't say they are the best team in the world, although I think you could make a case for it being the current world champions. Then on to the 2 that I think are the closest, the top 2 ranks, France and Ireland. Now, France, of course, got the better of Ireland in the Six Nations, 30 points to 24. Close, it was at home, but still, they won the game. And the French pack at full power, in my opinion, could get the best of the Irish pack for sure. They've got that power. Ireland may be a little susceptible to that ultimate power, something they didn't quite get from New Zealand. The next meeting between those 2, it could be really revealing. That's going to be interesting. Now on to Ireland, and their series win over New Zealand was historic, and the last 2 performances, those last 2 wins, were just fantastic. 2 of the best team performances I've seen certainly of the year, if not ever. Tell me if I'm overdoing it, I just was that impressed. Now the big question is, if Ireland perform like that and France perform at their best, who wins? It would be an unbelievable game. I'm not sure, but I think I'm pushing towards the rankings of Ireland, because those last 2 performances were absolutely amazing. But I get the case if you say France. Now the exciting time to look at the viewer votes. This is really interesting, over 700 votes. Thank you for everyone who voted. Please keep doing it. It just adds to the videos, I think. And here are the results. France take it. Nearly 50% of the vote says France. They are the best, even though they are number 2. Ireland there with a decent chunk, nearly 37%, and 12% still saying the world champions South Africa. We will of course get to see France and Ireland go at it in the Six Nations, so maybe that'll give us some answers there. For South Africa, let's see how they go in the Rugby Championship and at the Test at the end of the year to really get a handle on them. But yeah, I think it's between France and Ireland. I said Ireland, you said France. I think there's merit in both. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.